The Omnic Weekly.
Actually, I'm not tired this time.
I was kind of expecting you to say that because of some comments that we have gotten in on the previous episode. Like, oh, this is the first time that Frost is not saying that she's that she's tired.
I'm a sleepy girl, but I'm not tired today, so.
Okay, I'm going to turn Yakimon around already because I'm noticing that my camera's already having a difficult time focusing on me. What the hell, man? But I'm glad to hear that you're not tired. I wish I could say the same, but one of us needs to be tired at some point. Are you getting through those first weeks of the year pretty well?
Yeah, it's been a bit sluggish sometimes, but I think that's just kind of the winter drag.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. The winter is when I've said this before, when it's snowing and it's beautiful and it's all kind of very Christmassy, whatever, that's beautiful. But this type of winter weather that we usually have in both Belgium and Germany, or at least some parts of Germany, not all of it, it's just kind of depressing, man. But every step forward, every day, we're getting closer to spring. To that beautiful time of the year where everybody starts kind of cheering up again, getting outside of the house, all that stuff.
Also, just having some stuff to look forward to, some little vacations.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, for now it's just a little, winter. It does what it does. But I'm just going to jump in immediately. Well, first off, Hannah and LP could not make it today. We hope to have Hannah on next week. That's kind of our hope. She was hoping to join us next week, so we look forward to that. And LP, we don't know where he's missing in action. We have no idea where he is at. The last we've seen him, he was how do you say that? There's a word for that. I can't think of it right now, so that is kind of stupid. It kind of ruins the joke, but he is in cahoots with some German people. That's all I'm going to say. I guess he's just enjoying his time with his girlfriend flying over to Florida. But yeah, it has been an interesting week in Overwatch. We're going to jump right in because there's a lot to talk about. The year kind of started off pretty strong for Overwatch. First off, before we dive into the more controversial news, let's start with the mid-season balancing patch that came up. So many people were complaining about Moga, that he was too OP and whatnot, and then it was bound to happen in the mid-season patch. He got delivered a bit of a nerf. And it was, in my opinion, quite a substantial nerf. And I'm feeling like, as I kind of predicted, that he's sliding into the same zone where the Junker Queen and all the slightly underpowered tanks are kind of resetting. I'm not going to say that the Junker Queen is underpowered per se, but that she's kind of very situational or kind of very dependent on who is playing her, and not as much as just a run and gun tank. But what do you think, Frozen? Have you played Mongo since he was nerfed?
I have not played him, but played much. I always.
It sounds like you're breaking up a lot. It sounds like you're talking in code. It's basically you.
Is this better?
It might be. I don't know. It's kind of once you started talking a full sentence, it was like you were doing a riddle. You were doing a riddle first.
I kind of tried him out, but I didn't really play him a lot in general. He feels different. I think one of his major nerfs that I didn't really think that would be that big is that he doesn't have infinite ammo anymore during his ult. That's kind of crazy.
It is.
But it also feels like that was a step to make him easier to balance, because his ult is quite unique, and giving any character unlimited ammunition is kind of, some people have it. D.Va has it, for example, but with him, that he kind of relies on damage, having infinite ammo. He feels fine. He's not the best tank. He's not the worst. he's just kind of, as you said, kind of very situational in that regard. Like, I know a very passionate player of him, and he's kind of very annoyed because he's been, like, his nerves substantially. Apparently, it does a lot. He's not that good anymore, but you can still do stuff with him. You can still pull off good plays if you know how to play him. So
he's not nerfed into oblivion, but he definitely, like, one-tricking Monga is a bad idea. That is basically I'm going to be honest. Like, one-tricking any hero, in my opinion, is a bad idea in Overwatch. But especially some heroes are very kind of sensitive to that. I think Yari is also one of those. Sorry, Scorpio.
yeah,
That you need to be very kind of aware that there are other supports, there are other tanks. But yeah, I would. Sorry, go ahead.
I just say you can probably say more about that since you're more of a tank player. I mean, of course, you play more ports recently also.
Yeah,
But I don't have that much
bit.
experience anymore since the last time I seriously played tank was Overwatch 1.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think when you were talking about his ultimate, I think his ultimate is kind of in a weird place because it has, let's say, at least a 50% chance to end you as a Monga player. If you just decide to pop your ult, there's at least a 50% chance that you're going to die. And that is taken into account. Even the smartest players or the best kind of planning players will run into that problem because anybody can just walk in and once you're in that wall, you are kind of trapped and you don't have that, and your own teammates can also walk in and walk out and try and heal you, but you just kind of draw all the attention towards you and you don't have the sustain to survive it. So I've seen a lot of Mongols die in their own ultimate. It basically is this moment where and the smarter thing would be to use it and pop, kind of cancel it as soon as you can when you notice you're getting overwhelmed, so you can kind of get away. But that, I don't think a lot of Mongo players are kind of at that stage where they have that enough in the fingers to be as quick on that. So yeah, on Platinum at least, I've seen a lot less Mongos, and the ones I've seen as soon as they drop the ultimate, yeah, it's almost like you can wave them goodbye. The chance of them surviving are quite small, or you need to drop like a Mei ult in there to kind of control everybody and freeze frame everything. But then, that's just wasting 2 ults. We'll see. Like I've said in, I think it was in one of my videos where I said it in the last episode, I think they're going to bring him back to that level where he's kind of out of the limelight, and then we'll see how they kind of bump him up, how that evolves. One of the more controversial changes in that patch has been Orisa. A lot of people kind of were very upset about the Orisa buff, kind of going, why did they do this? They made the horsey stronger. What the hell is going on? Are they stupid? They should all be fired. All that kind of typical stuff. But the funny thing is, like, right after I think somewhere around the weekend, Alex shared some details, and it turns out she was at a win rate of 40%. Orisa has been kind of
even under before her buff.
Yeah, before her buff, she was under 40%. She has been accused, even before her buff, she was being accused of being OP. She had a win rate of under 40%. Come on, guys. That is
At
not...
some point, it's just, come on.
It's perception. Perception always kind of... I'm not going to say it ruins a lot of the... It makes the job of balancing Overwatch a lot more difficult. And I don't know if there's like a clear-cut way to deal with that. But anyways, she is doing better now, but she's not OP. She seems to be in a good spot. She is still in the lower end of when it comes to the tanks. She's still at the bottom, not at the all bottom of the list. I don't know who. I think maybe Wrecking Ball is there right now because he really needs help. They kind of repeated that in that same or the same series of tweets that Alec sent, like Cassidy and Cassidy and Wrecking Ball definitely need help. But Orisa is somewhere in the lower half of so we shouldn't be too... I mean,
I just don't think she's ever gonna get out of that lower half. But just like once she hits near 50% win rate, people are just gonna complain again.
Yeah.
I don't think that... I mean, they would be able to, of course, but I don't think that would be like a realistic thing to do for them to get her out of that.
It would actually be a very interesting sociological study to see why this keeps happening, why the perception goes up. And I kind of blame the fact that Orissa's kind of good at countering some of the heroes that are a little like if you give her more poking power by removing the damage fall off. Who are the first you think of that she's going to shoot at?
The supports.
Well, yeah, in your case, you think it's going to be the support, but actually, the Widowmakers were the first to complain about
Yeah,
that. The supports were just like, at this point, I think support players are just like, yeah, whatever, we'll make it work. Support players are just kind of like, shh.
I saw a lot of memes about the Ana stuff. We're gonna get into that later, but we as like supports as a majority, I will not include the Mercy Mafia here. Listen to me, I will
She's
not
looking
include
right
those.
into the camera for the people that are listening.
But like otherwise, supports are not as whiny because a lot of these supports just kind of make it work.
Well, the
And
supports
again,
have suffered.
not including the Mercy Mafia here. Those are separate.
I love how Frozen's face always has that little. She has that smile on her face always. And the moment she talks about she just kind of gets really kind of looking into the camera and all evil. So you better watch out. You know what I think it is? Like supports have been suffering for so long now that they generally kind of like roll with the punches. You know, you're the first to be targeted. You can tell if someone is an actual support player or if they just kind of are playing support because one certain hero is something they enjoy is because they will yell, "Why me?" Like, yeah, because you're support.
Scorpio.
Because you support. That's what support means. You're going to be the first to be targeted. And to be honest, if my DPS or if I'm playing tank, my tank is not kind of helping out to kill the supports, I'm like, hey guys, there's no way that there's no use in trying to kill this Roadhog as long as the Ana and the Mercy are keeping him up. That is kind of, you're wasting resources. You're getting some ult charge out of it, but
especially certain supports have been getting nerf after nerf after nerf, and somehow still the tank and DPS players complain the most.
Yeah.
Because like at some point you have to see, especially I think the Morgoth nerf, it hit hard, but it could have hit harder, especially since one of his major counters has been nerfed slightly.
Yeah, but we'll talk about the Ana nerf in a second.
So I don't know.
Look, supports.
Orisa has been a big deal. I've seen him be played way more, but that's usually just after someone gets nerfed, they play him way more. But
wait, did you see Morgoth be played more? Really?
No, Orisa. Like after she got buffed, I seen a lot of. Like, usually it's they play Morgoth and then they realize, fuck, this doesn't work anymore, and then they switch to Orisa.
Yeah. There's definitely been an uptick in Orissa's, and Roadhog also has seen some changes. For Roadhog, it was wait, what was the change again for his?
It was a take a breather nerf, where the cooldown was longer for 0.5 seconds.
And he doesn't heal as much anymore. Yeah, I think not noticing a lot of all that, but I don't play Roadhog as much. I think kind of avid Roadhog players will definitely have a different opinion on that. I wanted to say, before we move on, you said like supports have been getting a lot of nerfs, but I do think supports are in a good spot. Like a lot of people are complaining that supports are too strong and that they can kill people way too easily. Which is, well, if you would have defended support players, like, let's say, a year ago, a little better, or more than a year ago, then we wouldn't be in the situation where, well, up till this day, actually, where supports need to kind of fight for their own. And then, you get a situation where support is going to kill you while they're also kind of keeping the rest of the team up. They are strong, but...
Because we have to be, because no one will give a shit about us.
I don't understand the logic on why a support should not be able to kill you exactly when, about the bigger part of the teams don't care about their supports. Like, if you play in random groups, the chances of you as an Ana, Mercy, Zenyatta, whatever you're playing to get some help from anybody is rare. I can count them, literally per week, I can count the occurrences on one hand. And I'm super grateful when I see Hanzo turning around to help me out when they hear I'm getting harassed while I'm playing Ana or circumstances like that. Usually supports help each other, but that's it.
If you can't get away as a support, if you don't have the movement abilities, you should at least be able to fight that DPS and have a realistic chance to win.
And that is what we have, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Kiriko are kind of on the edge, but other than
when they get resistance, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Kiriko can
Oh, I
do both, but
Mhm.
she can do. She can't do well. She can do both, but her teleport has such a long cooldown that she needs other alternatives. If you look at
Mhm.
Lifeweaver, he can just keep avoiding you. Like it's insane. His hitbox is
Mhm.
small. He has his platform. He has his dash. He just can keep avoiding you for the longest
But
time. But he can
that
kill you.
that's something like he does some damage, but he can just avoid you, so that's fine. He wouldn't need that much damage because
Mm-hmm.
he's slippery. Like Tracer, she doesn't have a lot of health, but she's slippery.
Mm-hmm.
They can get away. Someone like Ana or Mercy, when like on cooldown, Mercy maybe more, but like when someone just doesn't have that movement abilities or is not that slippery, they should have something else counting for them.
And that is Anna. Anna is an old lady. Give her at least the chance to, and she does. I mean, I've killed. I think I had what was it yesterday or something? But I've been playing the quicker play to get ready for the podcast, and I had an instance with a roadhog that was coming straight for me, and I kept kind of first I slapped him, flashed him, kept shooting him in the face, and then he had to start doing his hit, take a breather. But yeah, he was wasting his breather because I had flashed him. There was this whole thing, and it ended up killing him. And I think the person left like 5 seconds later, so they probably hit the keyboard first and then kind of pissed off.
Well, if you head on try to fight an Ana when she has all her abilities, then of course that's not a good idea,
Mm.
even as a tank.
Yeah, especially
That
as a
is just
roadhog.
stupid.
Especially
That
as a
doesn't
roadhog. I could just,
it,
I'm your counter, man. I'm your counter.
yeah,
I mean, it's not a good idea to come from me, but
that doesn't mean that she's overpowered. That just means that you're not playing this game right now.
yeah, exactly. The roadhog
You
was just not that good, and he was missing
Mm.
his shots and whatnot. But it was funny to kind of
Mm.
see Anna bite, kind of bite off. How do you say that?
Unexpectedly, I had a lot of fun with the
With the Stormbar what? With the?
Sombra buffs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sombra and Sojourn got buffed too in
Yeah.
the DPS. And actually, I had a lot of fun with Sombra.
I think the Sombra buff isn't necessarily as much for like it's not going to. It kind of makes her flow feel a little less
It's
bumpy.
less chunky to
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
For
You
that,
just
it was
slide
sometimes
into stealth a little easier
Mhm.
and kind of out of it a little
Mhm.
easier. Yeah, I
the
agree.
flow is way nicer with playing her. It feels more intuitive, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely one of the very good changes, I think.
Yeah, and the Surgeon buff. Well, it will not. Her charge will not drop under 25, so that means it will not drop under 25 due to decay. So if you're going to use a shot, it's going to go under 25. But it's not. There's a if you don't shoot enough, there's going to be a certain decay that kicks in, and that lowers your energy levels, and that is never going to kind of bottom out at 0. It's going to stick to 25, which makes it easier to kind of climb back up and to recover and get your shots in. Something a lot of people were worried about, not something that I've noticed considerably. I've not seen an uptick in surgeon players. I've not seen people getting really kind of. I think I've seen one good surgeon player all weekend.
Rather in high level, but in like casual games, haven't noticed any more like
Yeah.
kills with Sojourn. If you have a good Sojourn, she's
Oh, yeah.
just good. But that doesn't mean like has anything to say about the character. But
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
fine, but it's not that noticeable.
Yeah. I mean, on our level, it's always kind of different from the high level. The high tier players will definitely take a
I
lot
think
of
that was
better advantage.
that was rather for the high tiers.
Yeah.
That
All
change.
right. Let's move forward to the supports. Iyari and Lifeweaver had a buff. Iyari's I'm trying to kind of. Oh yeah, let me start with Lifeweaver. Lifeweaver, his platform can no longer be pierced by piercing ammo, which is including arrows and whatnot. So he's kind of a little safer on his little platform, which makes him even more slippery than he was before. And on top of that, they increased his projectile speed, which makes him shoot faster. And I did notice an uptick in his damage. He can definitely. He's not going to be able to kill a roadhog like I did with Anna, but he definitely shoots faster. And I don't know, like the poking in the distance and kind of deterring anybody that is trying to sneak up to you and kind of standing your ground works a little better at this point.
I don't know. The concept of a support having poking damage is interesting.
You're
Since you
really
have-
clipping for. I don't know why it is. Like,
You like have sometimes you have like snipers you can like poke a bit from behind, but I don't think any support works that well with poking as Lifeweaver right now.
Anna?
She works well, but she has to like aim a lot of times. With Lifeweaver, you can like shoot in the general direction.
Yeah.
If you get me,
Yeah.
it's a bit. He works like he has very similar style, like poking wise, as Ramatra, I think.
Yeah, he does. He does the kind of
Or so.
projectile thing. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. I kind of like that.
I sometimes use my flask as Anna. Not. It depends on which tank they have. Like I will definitely do it if they have a shield tank. Is to throw a flask over the shield towards the back line, and then you see the bit of panic that causes of people kind of spreading in. And it at that point they stop focusing the tank as much when it comes to healing, and they start kind of healing each other up, and then the tank usually dies. So it kind of works. If you Anna is actually a counter for all types of tanks. You either you flask the Roadhog and whatever who is standing in front of you, if it's a Moga, if it's a Roadhog or whatever, or you throw that flask in the back line, and then you kind of pull attention away from the tank, and then you just kind of see him evaporate.
I mean, that's something you should always do. Just try to, if you get a huge flask, that can be a huge game changer, because everyone can't be healed, or like the psychology of it, just fuck, we can't be healed, we have to retreat. Just as a way of helping your team to push forward.
Have you noticed the difference with the nerf in her flask?
Honestly, not really. Because
Not at
anything you do is kind of done by the time it's over. Like when you flask someone, the damage will come immediately and not 3 seconds later.
It's just like there's a small window. There are different reasons why you flask someone, and then you basically open a window of opportunity for everybody to either heal up or to do serious kind of a lot of damage, or to block a lot of healing. And I just feel that the difference between 3 and 3.5 seconds of opportunity to do that is not substantial, because most of it should be happening in the first 3 seconds. Like that little bit you get at the last half is not going to make the biggest difference. Again, not on a platinum level. It might be different again on the higher tiers, but I don't know. It was also one of those changes where a lot of people were getting upset, and they were like, why did you nerf my hero and whatnot?
I saw so many memes of like people being beaten up, and just like Ana players seeing Ana getting nerfed again.
Yeah.
And I like did a little tweet on it. I was like, we still don't complain because we deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
I mean,
it's not that huge.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of, at some point, it's also, if I don't know, like if the impact of the nerf is not going to be big enough to make a difference, should they do the nerf? Because at some point in psychology, that whole perception thing like also comes into play. Like if you see, it's the same thing with backfills. I know it's kind of off topic, but listen, it's going to make sense in the end.
Okay.
I think backfilling, it's an important part of the game, especially with the lever issue that Overwatch has. I also want to remind me to talk about levers in quicker play. But she's taking a note. Look at that. The backfill, sometimes I get backfills a lot. Like when I'm playing all by myself, I think 1 out of 5 games, sometimes 1 out of 3 games will be me backfilling for someone. And sometimes it happens right at the end, which is super frustrating. But other times it will happen like you're on a 6 game lose streak. You've lost the last 6 games, and then they put you into a situation where someone has left because they are in a losing situation. Like, that is something to keep in mind. Maybe don't put me in a backfill, especially not a losing backfill, where if I'm already on a 6 game lose streak. All that kind of perception, psychology, maybe don't nerf Ana as much. I do think, on the other hand, while I'm talking about this, I don't think they did this. Like, the two sides are, Ana's are like, oh, come on, nerfing again? Are you kidding me? Even if it's not substantial. The other side of the coin is all the other people complaining about Ana being too strong and her flask being too strong, just getting sent off into the game with the idea that she was nerfed, while actually she wasn't nerfed that hard. I don't know. Maybe there's something to say about that nerf, and it's more not for the Anas themselves, but for all the rest that are complaining about her being too strong and her flask being too game breaking in a game where there is still a res. But anyways, which is something I think is way more.
But at this point, developers don't even have to be knowledgeable about how to balance the game. They also have to have studied psychology in some way.
It's sociological. Like. Yeah, there's a sociological impact. Yeah. Especially in Overwatch, because some people, or a lot of people, are kind of tied into the heroes that they play so much. It's not just about, like in Call of Duty, you have a weapon that will change, but your character will still be the same. You'll switch to another weapon, but your character that you kind of invested in with the skins and whatnot and the time you put in there, that character's still going to be the same. It sucks when they nerf a weapon and you can't use it anymore. I've seen the same in Apex, that people are... the wingman was one of those weapons back in the day where either it was OP or it was complete trash, and then it became a meme, or it became... But people distance themselves from that weapon pretty fast. While, yeah, a hero will feel way more personal. I think League of Legends is a game in the same kind of category. And then, whatever you do to these characters will impact the perception around your game.
Well, there's something else in the future, though, right? For the game.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of in the future for the game. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. Let me first also say that is Yari still locked in comp? Do you know? I think she still is.
I actually don't know.
Yeah, I haven't played comp this weekend. I was on quicker play the whole weekend.
I didn't play too much this weekend. I was doing other things.
Someone had a busy schedule.
Yeah.
But
Still
Yari,
not done, but yeah.
Yari was locked out of comp because there was a bug that didn't reset her ammo properly. And one thing I want to mention, because I kind of like it, is they added the recolor skins for Symmetra and Reinhardt to the shop, so the StarCraft and the World of Warcraft skin. And I like them both. I know a lot of people have been kind of yelling a lot about the recolors. I actually have a video that is coming out today on the recolors, so go check that out. But I really like that bundle that they released this week, because I'm a StarCraft and a World of Warcraft fan, so I kind of like these crossover skins. I'll gladly.
They're pretty. I don't think I'll get them. They're not that my vibe, but also maybe because I just don't play the games they're from.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
But I don't mind them. So I don't care about them, so I don't complain about them, you know?
Yeah, but that's not how it works in the community.
I know. It's...
Yeah, but I'll discuss all of that in the video. If you want to find out more, check out the video on YouTube. It should be coming out. By the time this podcast is out, it should be out. It's literally planned for in a few hours when we record this. All right, but so let's start with, because there's actually a lot to talk about. First off, let me kind of highlight the two things we're still going to be talking about this episode. One is the whole testing they did this weekend, which was Quick Play Hacked. We're going to start out with that. And second, following that, Aaron also kind of chimed in on what happened exactly, or what the ideas behind that, and also the future of the game. He really kind of outlined a big part of the future for Overwatch in 2024. There's a lot you can read between the lines, on top of the fact of everything else that he actually said. So, let's maybe start out with the Quick Play Hacked. A few weeks ago, they actually, or it was Aaron that mentioned it, I don't know, in a tweet or something, or in a blog, that they would be doing these tests or these experiments with Quick Play to kind of start changing the core gameplay of Overwatch a little bit. And the first of these tests, which they call Quick Play Hacked, is happening this weekend, and it's called Quicker Play. So everything sped up a little bit in the sense of where your spawn timers, the capture times, the unlock times, the payload moves a little faster. So the tempo of Quick Play, not the players themselves, not the timers of all your abilities, but just the matches themselves have been sped up, which results in shorter matches, but also in way shorter spawn times. I did notice that the group 3 spawn is not working right now. It's disabled or something because you spawn faster, but you also spawn separately. So I feel like they should still do that.
Spawn times have been so crazy.
Yeah, it's basically 70% of what it used to be.
Basically, like, to get a feel for it, you can't even watch the kill cam anymore. You just like see how you died and then you respawn.
Yeah,
Basically how fast it is, and it's crazy. Especially with like some faster characters, you die and you're back within, I don't know, 10 seconds.
Yeah,
you're just back in the game. Or time very short for some games.
Yeah,
but
not too short. Like in some modes, you don't even if you're playing good, you don't manage to get within one round to get your freaking ultimate in some characters.
Yeah, like 2 minutes sometimes, and then the game is over.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the quicker play. I kind of like because it feels more engaging in general. Because you always have to be on your toes. You don't have those waiting of, oh, we achieved a team kill. We're gonna have to wait at least 20 seconds for them to get back. So we're just chilling here right now. But they're gonna be back immediately. You're gonna have to like already like quickly heal up and prepare for them to like go at you again. So like the part of being more engaging, that was very fun because it was more engaging.
I've noticed that there's way more turnarounds. Like I've literally had at least 4 or 5 games this weekend where the meters were at 99%, and where you would think in the normal quick play, like, okay, this game is lost, where you manage to flip it around and still come out on top. Like when you kind of going that final phase and that overtime, basically, that you anything can still happen. Like it's not because you're in overtime. Like when in quick play, when you go into overtime, you're basically kind of wasting time unless you are going to get really lucky and manage to group up, or someone has a big ult, or you have that one thing that will make the huge ass difference and that will still flip things around. 90% of your games, you'll just be kind of stalling the inevitable. While in quicker play, the end of the match can still go anyway because everybody's back way faster, and you get these situations where it becomes this: who is going to stay focused all the way until the end? Who is going to make the first mistake? And whoever makes the first mistake is going to pay for it. In general, in quicker play, mistakes are way more impactful. If you make a mistake, that is going to cost you way more. There's way less leeway to reorganize, to kind of... I had a game where my 2 supports were too late. I don't know. They were hanging around the spawn. I don't know what they were doing. They joined the game, like let's say 15 to 20 seconds too late, which is substantial. And we lost the game no matter how well we played together, how organized we were, because we just started on the back foot, and it just kind of rolled over us. On the other hand, when the match was over, on to the next one. You know what I mean? Like with quick play, you have this room within, like you just said, within the game to, okay, we do a first attempt. That didn't work. Okay, let's reorganize and try a second attempt. Okay, that didn't work. There's a third thing we can try. In quicker play, it's like 1, 2, oh shit, it's over. Well, let's try again in the next game. You just kind of keep pushing it forward. I personally like it too, but oh god. Like, go ahead.
Depends. The first few games I played was the first game I played was on my own. After that, I was playing with some other. I saw Kobe and Tweety online, so we played together a bit, and it was different. But in both games, like even on the enemy team, like afterwards, we had people that just typed, "Well, this is interesting," or like, "This is kind of fun," which was, I didn't expect that. I kind of know.
You had a whole other experience than I had. I had so many people putting the blame on quicker play and people doing dumb shit like pushing in all by themselves and then putting the blame on, wow, this sucks. And then I'm going to be honest, I was kind of worried I was going to get reported, but I was kind of like, no, man, it's just fine. It's you pushing in. The same rules apply than they do in quick play. Don't be a dumbass.
Yeah. I don't know, if you have a brain, I guess
Jesus.
it's fun.
But it's a new excuse. Like every single time Blizzard changes something to the game, I'm going to come back to change in a second because I'm going to be very blunt with you. If you are afraid of Overwatch changing, I feel like you need to brace yourselves because I feel like with what Aaron said in his director's take, like seeing the game very differently in 2 years. I don't know, man. I think we're in for some. I think in 2 years this is going to be a different game. I think we're going to be done with the 1.5 cons. But anyways, it's a new excuse. People just put the blame on everything. And you just need to play the game. Stop. You'll lose. You win. Not every loss is someone's fault. Sometimes it's the team is just better. Sometimes you didn't have luck. It's just stop. Just enjoy the game.
Even
Play
if
it.
one player is lacking, maybe you don't know they have a bad day or they just want to chill. They don't want to sweat too hard.
Maybe they're just having a bad game. We all have those
like,
games where
Exactly. Like
click.
all of those valuables, just don't think too hard about it. Don't try to find someone to blame just because you think, oh, we should have won this. Maybe you think that, but you didn't. So
Yeah,
keep on
exactly.
going. Do something else or something.
A cop that is going to be interesting to kind of see the impact of everything and to kind of this with the whole new system. It's going to be interesting to see.
Also, once quicker play is not active anymore, the games are gonna feel so slow. When you once kind of get used to the speed, it's like, I don't know, learning a fast weapon or a fast character and then going, I don't know, learning Tracer and then playing Roadhog for the first time. It's gonna feel so slow.
I don't know. Like I'm not fully 100% convinced. How do I say this? I'm not. I have not decided yet if I want the rule set of quicker play instead of quick play, because I do feel like it kind of it feels a little more arcadey, a little more less committing. On the other hand, what I wanted you to remind me of, I have seen a lot less levers in quicker play.
True, because there's not that many possibilities to leave.
Well, yeah, and people are, I think, in a way, also kind of thinking like, yeah, this will be over. I'm just going to sit it out, or it just, I don't know. It feels more engaging. I think that is it. Like the moment you don't in quick play, the game lasts is at a tempo. It lasts so long that along the game somewhere. Depending on how toxic you are, that this will move closer to the start or of the game. But you have the sense of this is the chances of winning this are low or high. In quicker play, there's no way you can predict. Anything can happen at any time because you feel like it all happens so fast and there's so many variables at play that there's no way for you to comprehend this. Like, is this team going to work out unless you really have someone substantially throwing and just goofing off? It really kind of puts everybody to the test. So nobody is going to be feeling like, oh, this is unwinnable, I'm out. They're just like, okay, this is going to be over quickly. And anything can still happen. I have a lot, like, without kidding, I think we were getting back to a tempo where every one out of 4 games was one of the 2 teams had a lever, and now you can play 10 games in a row without anybody leaving easily, even more.
I still had levers sometimes, but it was not as often.
Yeah.
I think in general, I think this was a very good test. I'm very glad they did this just to try it out.
Me too.
And I don't think they should like implement this 1-to-1, but I definitely think they can take things from this and like maybe keep it a bit slower, but just to fasten up the gameplay a bit more to like make it more engaging again. Because like if you don't give the players the chance to think about, hey, I don't know, this kind of is getting boring. If you like keep the game more engaging and faster in that sense, it could really help with some of the other problems that are occurring right now.
Exactly.
Because like right now you don't even have the time to type anything in chat anymore, because that is valuable time you need to get back to somewhere or do anything. Like I'd never seen that little typed in chat ever.
People are not hanging in spawn as long and whatnot. So yeah, one thing I like a lot. The respawn timers are kind of nice, but what I like a lot is the faster push bot. It is way more decisive. It's way more like the you can. That is just the thing. Like faster push bot gives you the ultimate push experience, because you have about, I think in a whole trajectory of a push, you have about, if you never stop them, you have about 3 to 4 moments that you can stop them. If you don't manage to stop an enemy team in 3 to 4 moments, there's no use. And that is usually when you see people leaving, is after 2 attempts to stop the enemy team and to kind of revert the ball in the other direction. It's usually in quick play where you see people starting to leave and starting to throw or to give up is after 2 or 3 attempts. But in this, you just get 2 or 3 attempts. And if you manage to counter it and push it all the way back, you can still do magic things, and you still kind of can prolong the game and kind of make work. And the faster payloads is also a thing. Like,
that kind of bit us in the ass once, where they almost got like won the game because there was
Backup.
like a little tracer in the back line trying to like push, and that's so much more dangerous now.
and
But
I like
also-
that. I like that is more dangerous, because there's so many times that you'll see your team, if you're defending, push so hard and start spawn camping or whatever, just to be, I don't know, flexing or whatnot, and there's nobody paying attention to the payload or the objective. I like that fact that you need to be on your toes. I like that a lot. So yeah, I also agree. I think they need to take some elements of this and implement them, maybe tune them, because like with assault, like the cycle, like you have 2 points that you need to, well, if they also capture one, you have 3 objectives. It goes too fast. You don't manage to pulp out an ult in that time. So
I just think they're just trying these drastic things just to see, hey, we don't try this a little bit to see if you like it. We're showing you the farthest extent we will go, and then go from there. Because if you like this, we can take some tuned down things, maybe only 50% of what they had in there, like tuned down a bit and then implement it. But that's where you can like see better how it would affect the game. To have these like drastic things just thrown in there. And then
I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I want to see them. I want to see where they go with this. And there's going to be another one of these experiments still in season 8. So season 8 is still, well, a month away now. Valentine is in a month, and it's going to be on the 13th that it is supposed to release. So we still have a month to go, and there's going to be another one of these weekends. So I'm looking forward to what else they have planned, because this was fun. I think it was a good idea. All people that don't like just accept that this game is going to evolve, because someone tweeted this to me, and they said, like, the community has been kind of complaining about this, that Overwatch is kind of getting stale because it's the same thing, every season brings new cosmetics and it brings a theme. But actually, if you think away if you kind of remove all the seasons from the game, there's little impact to the actual gameplay. It's just like this isolated thing that hovers over the actual game. And the community is always complaining it's getting stale. And as soon as they change something, that same community is like, no, I don't want this. The game was fine like it was. I want to go back. I want to go back to the way it was. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's a love-hate relationship, but honestly, if
and it's not always the same people, but
everyone changes. You as a person, you change, and the game will change too.
I do not. No,
It's
I still
like
make the same.
it's definitely, it's development, and at some point you're gonna have to decide, hey, do I want to put my game to the next level? Do I want to change something? Do I want to freshen it up, or do I want to try to pull the same thing we pulled the last few years ago and maybe let the game die eventually? But change is good. but people just hate it. And once they got used to it, they don't want anything different anymore.
No.
Like some things we have in Overwatch right now where they're like, no, keep it that way. They were adamant about not wanting that in the game in the first place. But now they're defending it with their life. It's just, I don't know. Some people are so adverse to change, this is almost embarrassing.
People are adverse to change, and they kind of have this, I'm going to sheepish mentality of kind of, there are some big voices in the community that complain at everything, that seem to have a personal issue with everything that Blizzard does and what the team does. They have zero trust in the hero balancing team. They have zero trust in the development team. And every time something happens, they will just kind of call it out as being the worst decision ever, and they'll make videos of themselves staring into the camera and being all riled up and being all tough guy and kind of pretending that they're the Jesus Christ of the gaming industry and they know everything about it. There's like so many game designers in this community. It's frightening. It is a freak of nature.
A perfect example of like what Aaron Keller just said in the developer blog, like some things they're wanting to implement in Season 9, and the people who ripped it apart.
Without even knowing the full spectrum of what is going to happen. All right, let's go into that. Let's just, while we're talking about that. So Aaron Keller did his new director take, his first one for this year, and it was, like I said in my video, it was a doozy because he said some very, very important things. And one of the first things he said is something I mentioned earlier. He said that if he looks at Overwatch right now, and that was what he said. They kind of, he said he also made a video that he actually is looking forward, instead of trying to see what they're going to do next week or in the next few weeks. Like, what is this game going to be in 2 years? And that this game is going to be very different than it is 2 years. That they want to kind of go beyond this system where Overwatch stays the same and they just add new maps, new heroes, and new game modes. But that they kind of take that core and that they challenge that core and they look at it, and that is going to evolve alongside all the other stuff on top of the new maps, new heroes, and the new things that are coming, and that is going to evolve over the next 2 years. And I saw a tweet earlier today that is kind of interesting. I need to find it. I'm going to make a whole video on this topic this week, by the way. That League of Legends apparently does this huge upset like every single year, where they just kind of throw things around in the whole system, like in their core gameplay, and try to kind of do something completely new. And that is what they have been saying for years now, is that like every time I mentioned that they would retune a hero or redo a hero or do a whole makeover of a hero just for the fact of doing that, and not necessarily because they need it, in instances like Sombra, Roadhog, Cassidy, or Wrecking Ball, but that they would just do it for the sake of just changing things up, I get so much pushback. But I think that is where we're going. I think that is what we're going to see happen, is where they're going to take all the things that we know, and why are they doing that? Not to piss us off, but because this is a game that needs to last for ages, and the only way to do that is to keep it evolved, because we are the first to complain about things staying the same. So
not only like evolving, but also modernizing in some parts, because things, especially in the gaming industry, just change quickly and just so drastically sometimes. And if you can't keep up, you're gonna get left behind. And
Yes.
especially like that's, I think, something, especially in the live service industry in games, we're gonna see, especially with Overwatch, is that Overwatch just has to step up, because it's a live service game, but it also has to appeal to like some newer things, some fresher things, and just, I mean, core gameplay is always something like, oh, but that's not gonna feel like the old game anymore. Of course it's not, but it's not supposed to be. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be something new and something fresh.
Yeah, exactly. There are some core values that you need to adhere to, but that's it. All the rest is actually all for grabs. And like you said, the game industry evolves really fast. Look at what games are popular right now. Like if you would ask this a year ago, was Phasmo and on a shooter level, I don't know, Valorant was still doing very good, and I think it's still doing good. I'm not saying that Valorant is not doing good right now, but then you see right now, I think one of the most popular games is the finals. Everybody's playing the finals. And when it comes to the more horror genre, for instance, we have Lethal Company that is just all over the place. You just see this evolution of people looking for new things. Like, why do people move away from Valorant towards, or from games like, I'm going to put it a little closer to each other, like CS:GO towards Valorant, is because people want, within that thing that they kind of know and that they enjoy, they want to see some variation. They want to see something new. Why have that in another game, and why not have that within your own game? Because what are you going to do? You're going to take Overwatch and put it aside the same way they did with Team Fortress, where there's like a small group of people that are very fond of the game, enjoy it a lot, but they're like such a small group that it's not always try and find some friends to play Team Fortress with in general. It's, unless you're one of those communities, it's quite difficult, or you have a group of friends that play it.
If you're not willing to change or adjust, your game is just gonna die.
Yeah,
It's just course of life at this point.
exactly.
And for a game to be able to survive, especially in that industry, and have just players and keep players interested and maybe keep encouraging new people to play the game, you have to have impulses. And those impulses are big changes.
Yeah, they are. I want to see this game survive. We want to see everything that it kind of has to tell, because there is a lot to tell. Right, but let's have a... sorry, did you want to add something? I'm terribly sorry, I keep interrupting.
We can keep going.
Yeah. Let me just highlight some of the things he said beyond the whole 2-year thing. The game is very, very different. He actually kind of hinted at some stuff, but he also made some really concrete announcements. One of them is that they're looking at, for instance, they are currently either discussing or developing some things where the general idea basically is they want to encourage team play. Team play is still very important in Overwatch, and they want to encourage that. And one of the things they're going to do is something that I've been asking for years, something I've said in multiple videos on this podcast, is bring the party frames that we have in PvE, bring them to PvP. And I always figured the reason they did not do that was, I don't know, maybe there was a design reason I did not see, but it turns out like, yeah, whatever it was, no longer relevant. They're discussing it. And from what he said, well, Aaron said, I think it's pretty I think they're working on that is going to happen somewhere in the next few seasons, that we're going to see party frames.
I think before, especially in the first version of Overwatch, because we had so much visual clutter in general in the game. There's still a lot, but even before that was even more, like in a single game, that they didn't just want to overload the interface too with stuff, because the interface was always kept simple, because there's already that amount of visual clutter, and we still have a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's gotten way less. So by now, there's maybe a good time to implement something like this to help your interface and everything.
Well, in Overwatch 2, you also had 6 people, so that would make the frame a little too big to...
Yeah, true. No, but I like this. I like this idea. It's helpful to see, like, especially when a tank is crying for healing with more than half of their HP, and maybe, I don't know, support or a DPS is almost dying, and helps the tank understand, even in that situation, without turning around, that maybe he's not the priority right now.
Yeah, or that they're talking bullshit, that they're talking out of their ass, that the whole team can see, like, dude, you're full
that just
health.
Makes things more understandable, because we still have those situations where someone will complain, but they didn't have anything in their vision, in their view, health-wise or anything like. So, why didn't you boost me? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? It's gonna improve a lot, especially the lives of the supports.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as we get attacked, they're going to see us get attacked. We can ping as much as we want, because we all know, like, if you're playing support and you're pinging that Hanzo that is in your backline trying to snipe you, or well, no, he isn't supposed to be there, but he might. But anybody in the backline, the rest of your team, they don't even listen to pings anymore. And if they see your health going down on the health bar on their own screen, they're like, oh shit, what is happening to my support? They'll turn around, they come and help you.
Because it's maybe also not the thing of, I'm letting someone else tell me what to do, because a lot of people have a lot of pride in them. It's more like, I see that you need help, or that this isn't working, so I will decide to help you. That it's a slight change, but I think it's gonna help a lot of people in their pride.
That is psychology, sociology in your game design. There we go.
Yeah.
Another thing they're talking about, but that is most likely not going to get implemented, and I can understand why, is a mini map that shows where your teammates are. I don't think that would be very useful. I think,
I mean, you can see your teammates through walls. What more do you want?
as a support, you can, yeah.
Also, like, when are you gonna have the time to check a freaking mini map?
Actually, what am I saying? Like, all rules can see people through walls now, right? Or is it only
Yeah.
supports?
No, all roles can, like, if
Yeah.
you see your allies through walls.
Yeah.
So I
Used
don't
to be
see
only
why a
supports.
mini map should change anything. You can see where everyone is regardless.
Yeah. I don't think we need that right now. So those are kind of features that they were talking about. For on the other hand, they also, well, I'm going to come back to that. On the other hand, they also want to give people that kind of stray away from the team a bit of a tool. But I'm going to come back to that because there's something else. Well, that is so big that we need to keep it for the end. But he also kind of mentioned other stuff in a way, not as we're developing that, but he kind of sneaked it in there, like map votes, for instance, so that you would be able to. And some people are kind of like, oh yeah, my map is never going to get played again, or my favorite mode is never going to be played again. I don't think that is how it is going to work. I think you're going to get queued up for, let's say, for push, and you'll get a choice out of which map you want to play. You get to vote on that, and it's not. I don't think it's going to be. I used in the image. I used 3 choices. I don't think it's going to be 3. I think it is going to be 2, and they'll make sure that. I mean, some maps are in there that are going to be. I mean, and if one map is rejected every single time, that tells them that they need to work on that map and that there's some issues with that map, why people don't enjoy it.
I mean, that's just gonna encourage map reworks.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice because, like, I mean, usually there's a reason why people dislike maps. We had it back then with Paris. Paris was
perception
visually
and
a beautiful map. Visually, Paris was beautiful, but it was kind of frustrating to play sometimes.
Yeah, I'd rather have them address these maps this way than to kind of do the whole thing what they did with 2CP, where they just completely removed the mode because of some map issues. But yeah, that is one of the features that they're kind of working on. They're also working on measures against spawn camping, which I think is tremendous. I'm not a huge fan. They're also working on they're going to do improvements to the scoreboard. So there's a lot that is going to happen that they kind of mentioned alongside. But the one thing that got a lot of people upset, that made a lot of people angry for no really good reason, to be honest, but we'll get into that, is that he also announced that within the context of a big rebalancing, so there's going to be a big rebalancing of there's going to happen towards what was the big damage? I'm going to use his exact words. As part of a bigger set of changes coming to the game in Season 9, internally we're talking about and targeting some of these changes at damage spikeness in game. The role of DPS in securing the kills and the strength of healing. So basically having this situation where if you put it into a graph where the flow of a match will be or on your in person will be very kind of, you have these spikes, damage spikes. I can't explain it any better than just using the word, I guess. Where you are full health one point and the next point you're just obliterated. I have no freaking clue what happened. That is something they want to address. And within that philosophy of all these changes that they're doing, that they're probably going to be talking about somewhere in the coming weeks, well, definitely before Season 9, so they have about a month time, is that they're going to give DPS and tanking adjusted version, a tuned down version of the healer passive. So the healer passive, or the support passive, in case you're not aware, they kind of, after a few seconds, they will regenerate health. Supports DPS and tanks are going to get the same one, but it is going to be tuned down. So that means that if you're a Genji, you're flanking, you get rejected by a Nana, or you get pushed back by a Nana, and you're like, oh shit, I need to back off. You dash off. That you don't need to scour back to your supports and go, I need healing, or that you don't need to go look for the closest health pack. That you just need to sit it out and wait till your health slowly regenerates. How fast is this going to be? when is it going to start? Because there's always with the supports there is a delay on when this. It's not. It starts a few seconds after you are no longer being attacked, or the term is that you're no longer in combat, which is not a. I think in the background there is a stance that tells them that you're in a combat or not. For players themselves, it's not necessarily a thing because some people don't even realize that they're being attacked.
It's more like after you stop taking damage.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing.
Yeah, exactly. And after a few seconds, that will start ticking up. I think it is going to be similar to that. We don't know what the numbers are on that, but it is going to be tuned down, and it is going to be part of this bigger set of changes. So, all right, let's wait it out. Let's see what they're going to do. And everybody's like, "Why are they doing this?" And blah blah blah.
I'm gonna say everyone who's complaining about this has not played support a lot. Really not, because right now with a lot of tanks, it's just heal botting, but heal botting is no fun. No one wants to be a damn heal bot. And if I get the chance as an Ana to either heal my Genji, who's on the other side of the fucking map, and have to run there to get him some health so he doesn't die on me, or sleep the tank so the rest of the team can go on him, it's reasonable what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sleep the freaking tank because I'm not gonna care about the Genji in the back line. And if that Genji has a self-heal and doesn't even have to, like, of course it's going to be tuned down, but if that gives him the time to even like search for a health pack or to get himself back up and go back into combat, I'm going to welcome that as a support because I don't have to babysit anymore. And everyone who's complaining about, oh my god, supports are gonna be useless. I've seen so many people. It's like, you don't know how to play support, do you? Because supports are not just healers.
Yeah, and on top of that, support isn't like you said. You're basically babysitting. A support, their focus should be when you're in combat, when you're fighting. All of this is happening basically in off time when you're not in combat, when you're not taking damage, when you're not dealing damage. It basically is in between the fights. The supports are not going to be looking for everybody and trying to heal them up. They will have some way of kind of taking. They probably still will need some help. I don't expect it to go as fast as it does with supports.
Oh, definitely.
And with the supports themselves too. Like, we have that thing, but for me, that is always something in the back of my head. Like, oh shit, I'm close to dying. My other support is on the other side of the map. I'm just going to hide right here and let it tick up. It is really like disengaging. It's basically pushing yourself away from the game. You're not useful. You're not helping anybody. You're kind of staying away from everybody, hoping nobody sees you. And that is like so many rules and kind of circumstances, so many variables that need to click right for you to get that little bit of self-heal and to kind of top yourself off. To which point your other support will notice and kind of jump in and heal you up. But it's never that situation where you're unkillable. Like, someone on our Discord said, like, oh yeah, I can already imagine Reinhardt standing behind his shield and just, no, that's not how it's going to work. When he takes damage on his shield, he's going to get zilts of self-heal. You'll have to wait. He'll have to make sure nobody's around. And when he's if he manages to kill everybody else and he's the only one left on point, he'll have that to count on. He won't have to walk off the point to find a health pack. He can stay on the point, defend it, and take that self-heal. And I think that's perfect.
Well, that's the interesting part. Like, every support player I talked to was like, I'm actually looking forward to this. I actually think this is going to be fun. I had a talk with Kobe and Tweety about that exact thing, and we all agreed on sometimes heal botting is just annoying because you can't do shit. You can just, like, I don't know, heal your manga, heal your Roadhog, heal your tank up and try to keep them alive, and you can't really do anything else.
The life we've experienced.
Yeah, exactly, the life we were experienced. And that's kind of like why support sometimes gets a bad rep of, playing support is kind of boring because you're just healing all the time. Because right now it kind of is like that, and sometimes that can be relaxing if you just don't have to do a lot and just heal blood someone. But it's like most of the time, like 99% of the time, that's going to be annoying because you can't use all your abilities. You can't do the things that you want to do. You can't support efficiently because you have to babysit. And that's going to solve so many problems. And also, that's going to take a lot of pressure off of those supports to always keep you alive, to always keep you up, because we're gonna do that gladly. But at some point, like, just get a health pack. Like in some lot of situations.
Literally, someone will be complaining about needing healing standing next to a big health pack. I've had that happen so many times. Well, I'm trying to keep everybody else alive. They're just standing there next to the health pack, complaining about healing. Then I just want to kind of reach through the screen rather, not their skin. Well, eventually, if I hit them hard enough, slap them in the face. Because Jesus Christ, man, it is like Frozen. I agree with Frozen. Like you're just going to get the circumstance where you as a support are going to kind of be focusing on the important things and no longer on the little, you won't feel like you need to overextend because someone is hiding away in the back and you're like, shit, he can't get himself healed. How am I going to save him? He can save themselves. It is not going to make any difference in you getting down a character because when you're engaging with them, they're not going to get that self-heal. Then it's not going to happen. If you are like, I see some people claim like, yeah, good luck killing Morga or killing a Roadhog. Yeah, whatever. It's not going to make any difference. If you're damaging him, he's not going to self-heal. You need to disengage with him, I don't know, for how long, and then we'll see how long it kind of takes for that to happen and how much he actually heals. I wouldn't expect big numbers right there.
If you're in a fight, it's still the support's like choice if they heal you or not, if you're gonna keep alive, because that's where you get your healing in combat. But we're not talking about in combat here. That's a thing that's gonna be out of combat, which a lot of people just forget.
Yeah, exactly. And look, that is the reason why Aaron said it, because he probably didn't. Well, he should have anticipated it at this point with this community, but I don't think they said like it's going to be part of the bigger changes. But nobody read that. Everybody just took that one thing. You peel away everything, and it's like someone giving you an apple and you peeling away everything around the apple except the seeds and going, wait, what? What do you want me to do? How do I survive on seeds? What do you think I am, a bird? Like, dude, you just peeled away the whole apple. You dumbass.
But yeah, like we don't know what changes there are gonna be. We don't know what's gonna happen in season 9 yet. We're maybe gonna get an idea in the next few weeks. Yeah. There's still a whole season in between.
The sooner the better at this point, because
honestly, yeah, but there's gonna be a lot of changes coming with that. So just take that information in. Be interested and wait until you get to know something more.
But Frozen, just waiting, it doesn't give him the clicks, doesn't give him the personal kind of, oh, everybody likes me. I'm the Jesus Christ of the Overwatch community. Follow me.
Some content creators, I'm not gonna drop any names here, but for some content
we
creators,
don't do that.
I wanna have a strong word with their mother. Just let's say that.
We are not here to judge anybody, but like I've said it, I think I put a message on Discord. If I see another one of these kids ranting at their webcam about how they think that they know what Blizzard needs to do next and that Blizzard is wrong, that they are like all these self-proclaimed game designers, please. I'm going to say this very loudly. Off, please. Oh, it's like, can you imagine doing that to any other job in the world? Like going into a nuclear plant and going, that's the way you're going to do it, right? Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. Do you even know what you're doing?
Imagine going into surgery and telling a surgeon doing a heart transplant, oh no, you should do it like this, definitely.
I know how you need to do it, man. I have 2 hands. I use them on a daily basis. I use these hands every single day. I'm going to tell you how to do it. Motherfuckers.
I have a heart myself, so I can tell you how to do a heart transplant.
Motherfuckers. There we go. Now I did it properly.
The amount of entitlement, like, I know that there's a lot, but it still startles me sometimes, like how much entitlement there is in.
Welcome to Overwatch.
Dude, it's not even a problem exclusive to Overwatch.
No, it's true.
The entire gaming community right now, the amount of entitlement there is just
We've seen the same thing
exhausting.
with Phasma. With all the I remember one occurrence in Phasma where they accused the developer of making the lights bad on purpose for certain reason, for this and this and this, and like, do you even know what?
Mm,
Like, if you
do
don't
you
like
ever
the
heard?
game, don't play it.
Have you ever heard of atmosphere in a horror game?
But it wasn't even
Like,
that. It turned out it was a technical issue, but just the whole story around it was like everybody is so good at acting
that
like
gets
they know everything best.
that gets some clicks. If you act like you know everything, people are gonna listen to you, if it's
Yeah,
true
yeah.
or not.
I would get a lot more views on my videos if I started making content like that. If I started shit
People,
talking everything, I have the face to do it. I know that. Nah, if you would see me yelling at the camera about how shit things are, what decisions they made and whatnot, but
Mm.
I look, and I'm in a situation where I literally need to start making money out of this in the next 16 months, and I still refuse to do shit like that because I prefer my integrity as a content creator, as a person, beyond just getting clicks. I mean, fuck off. I think it is
Yeah.
important to take any change and look at it from all sides. When it's bad, it's bad. I'll tell you when it's bad. But I'm also not
But
going to
you
shit
have
talk
to
shit
give
because
you have to give credit where credit you guys. Seriously. Even like I was startled with the selfie at first. I was like, huh. I don't know about this one, Chief, but when you start thinking about it, that's the keyword. If you start actually thinking about it, you're gonna realize it's not gonna be that bad.
look.
But
I can.
people are just so used to people like they just don't think anymore. Like, oh, that person said that. I'm just gonna use that from now on because like
Exactly.
they want others to think for them.
Uh,
And that's not how it works.
the problem is even deeper. Everybody thinks they need to have an opinion on everything. That is necessary. The thing is, we can't have an opinion on everything. You are not a game designer, so you do not know how that is going to pan out. So what do? You go look on the internet for the answers because you need to have an opinion. You need to have something to say on X, Twitter, whatever. You need to be there. So you're going to look, and then you have these. You can fill out that bleep whatever you want. That will just kind of vent whatever bullshit they can think of first. That whatever, like, I don't know, they just smash their head against the keyboard, and that is whatever that comes out, and then everybody kind of adopts that. And the
And
louder they can talk about it, the more people will follow them.
And sometimes even just spreading blatant misinformation, which like just I can't grasp that. How we can know something is a lie and just spread that as fact.
Oh yeah. Well,
Like trying to damage something. I mean, I feel like we're kind of repeating ourselves because we definitely talked about something similar to this in the other, like in some other podcasts already.
definitely.
But
It's a
it's
recurring
just
theme.
something that keeps recurring. It's just just something that just keeps being so frustrating that you have to bring it up again because people just don't seem to get it. And I know that the people that listen to this podcast are like not one of those people because they listen to this podcast.
Yeah, they would have given up by now if they were.
Yeah, but do I have
Look,
something positive to like throw
No.
in between?
We're going to end it right here, but let me first give you. Let's just give the Overwatch community a general flow chart on how to deal with all these announcements.
Okay. Yep.
You listen, and the first thing you do is shut the fuck up. You
Yep.
can have your own idea. You can have your reservations. You might think like, oh, I don't know if this is a good idea, but what you do is you just shut the fuck up.
And then
And
you
then-
think.
And then you start thinking, and then you start trying what they if you get the chance. If it is like with the whole quicker play and it is out, you try it for yourself.
And you're not gonna be against it immediately, but you're gonna
You keep
think
trying.
about it.
Yeah, try
And you
it.
can try. And
Not once or twice. You need to.
If you have your pros and cons, you can still decide that this is an entire piece of bullcrap and they should never have made this change before. But at least you're gonna have an informed opinion about it.
Yeah, exactly. The trick is to shut the fuck up as long as possible, to try it and to get as much information as you can if you're interested. If you're not interested, you just shut the fuck up till you reach the thing where you think, all right, now I'm interested, now I'm going to try it. And you wait what follows next. And if it comes out and you tried it and you don't like it, you don't need to shut the fuck up. You can tell people, you can tell the developers in a polite way, like, I'm not fully on board because of this and this, and this reason.
It's called
This is what I don't like about
constructive criticism.
Yeah, exactly.
Constructive criticism is gonna get you help. It's gonna get things changed that you don't like. It's gonna help the developers make a better game in general. But if you just confront them with all the screams from everywhere without any constructive things in there, and just madness, it's not gonna help anyone. It's not gonna help you because you're gonna keep being frustrated. It's not gonna help the developers because they're gonna get frustrated from you screaming at them, because who wouldn't be frustrated by
I
that?
think they must
And
be used by now.
It's just gonna make everything into a giant shithole. But
Yeah.
if you stay constructive, if you make an opinion after getting your data, then that's gonna make things so much easier and better for everybody.
Yeah, and if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. If you just like, I don't like it, well, don't play
That's
it anymore.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that will give a signal. If you stop playing the game, that will give plenty enough of a signal. It's just the whole kind of lashing out, the yelling, the misinformed information, the whole mob mentality needs to stop. Seriously, it's just getting ridiculous. And look, I've seen some people on other topics that I'm not going to point out now to say like, yeah, that's the internet. If you can't deal with it, Snowflake, you need to go elsewhere. Fuck off. That is your internet. Go sit somewhere in a corner on some dark forums and go write some posts about some gnarly shit. But that is not society, my friend.
And we're not gonna even ask you guys, like all the people who are like that, we're not gonna even ask you to be nicer. I don't want you to be nice. I want you to be better. I want you to be smarter. That's what I want.
Or snap. I could see your ring light, if you say. Person was getting so angry that she was looking up.
Yeah, you might see my ring light right here.
All right, we complained enough about complaining for today. No, but seriously, it's getting to the level where it's funny. Like, it's not like haha funny where it's like, oh god, nobody's ever going to take this industry fully serious because people are. But then you realize it's the same thing with every industry. So
maybe next episode we cannot be enraged about people like that, but I highly doubt it.
I don't know. But it's just part. Look, first, I'm going to be very honest. Like, I chose not to go that route and to not be one of those people. But that also kind of, for me, includes kind of pushing back on that type of behavior. I will not just I will show a different way of doing it. And my videos, if you've not seen them, are that way. I'd always take a neutral stance to everything. I'll say when I don't like it, but also kind of, I've been very vocal on the skin prices and whatnot. On the other hand, I don't mind to recolors. That's kind of what the whole video is about. That is coming. And I think, yeah, exactly. But I'll also push back and kind of, because if we don't,
someone has to say something.
If you don't, this can't continue. I mean, yeah, I will continue, but I can't. I don't know. I want to look myself in the mirror at the end of the day. You know what I mean? We
can't give the dumbasses all the time to talk. Sometimes we have to talk too and bring some sanity into the whole mess.
Exactly. I think we probably talked about a lot of fun stuff today. I think we did a good thing. I think, look, if anything, we need to take away from this episode of the podcast is that there is a very interesting future for Overwatch. We'll see what it is. If it's going to be good or bad, that is. Well, look, I'm not going to be entitled to say that it is going to be that there's definitely going to be. They seem to be willing to kind of take steps. Everything is on the table right now, and the only thing that they want to do is make a game that we enjoy. But we need to stop yelling at them, so we can hear them. Because right now we're yelling so loudly, and every time they talk to us, we just kind of reflect everything they say to us, just kind of aggressively push it back. Like a shrink would have they could make a shit ton of money on this community. We need an army of shrinks, and they would all retire by boats in just 3 years. Because the way we are behaving is like we're yelling at our angry like our dad that left us, like that kind of situation. Like, daddy wasn't there, all that kind of, and I'm not laughing because I'm in the same boat, but you just kind of behaving like a bunch of toddlers. Just take it down a notch, let them talk, give feedback. If we don't like it, we piss off. Simple.
The game has been in a huge pile of change between in the last year, and like it's been tried. It's been like, but now they're gonna have the chance to actually implement some of those changes and to like start improving. And we talked about this before. There was kind of like before the Winter Wonderland and everything, there was kind of like a hopeful vibe about it. And by now, my stance towards it is just I'm gonna sit here, play my games, and wait and see what happens. Because honestly, I'll just see. I'm curious. That's probably what the Stripe is about. I'm curious about the future because uncertainty can be interesting. It doesn't have to be initially bad. It can be very interesting. So,
I'll tell you one thing. Uncertainty usually ends in something good.
Yeah.
We are so afraid of the bad that we focus too much on it.
And I'm not even gonna say like, hey, I'm not even gonna say about like a lot of the things that they said. Like, I'm just gonna see. I'm just gonna see how it pans out. And if I end up liking it, that's good. And if they need to adjust something, they will probably need to adjust something. But that's just how development goes. You're gonna change something, see, hey, this works, this doesn't, and they're gonna adjust it. And that's fine too. But let's just wait and see for now.
Exactly. Wait and see. Let's do that.
Yep.
All right. I think we yelled enough at our microphone. We are over time so badly again, Jesus.
Yeah, I really need to go.
Oh, you have D&D. That's right. All right.
Yeah, in half an hour.
Frozen, tell these lovely people where they can find you.
It's at Frozen Unicorn, the first O is a 0 on Twitter and Instagram.
Okay. You can find me as DamesTV on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Follow the Omnic Post on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube for all your info on Overwatch. I want to thank our patrons for all their support. You guys are legends. I keep saying it over and over again. And
You're amazing.
You too can join the Omnic Post family over on patreon.com/the Omnic Post. All right, guys, that was it for this week. We'll be back next week. Till then, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.